Nancy Pelosi was asked by Jake Tapper if she knew that impeachment would help Trump, if she had like a crystal ball. And every time I say that, there's comments like, "We have a crystal ball on the hill." Yeah, I know. It's a different context. Like, would she regret trying to impeach Trump if she knew, as a matter of fact, that it would help him? Her answer is pretty telling.
If you wake up the day after Election Day 2020 and exit polls show that impeaching President Trump helped him get reelected, would you have any regrets?
No, this isn't about politics at all. This is about patriotism. It's not about partisanship. It's about honoring our oath of office. This is the first president has committed all of these things, as the constitutional experts said yesterday. Nobody ever has even come close. Not Richard Nixon even came close to his dishonoring his own oath of office. So no, this isn't politics is not even a consideration in this. This is about protect and defend the Constitution. I truly believe, and you too, I truly believe that the times have found us to save our democracy, defend our democracy for the people. If we didn't, we would no longer. When September 17, 1787 was the day that the Constitution was ratified, was adopted. When Benjamin Franklin came out on the steps of Independence Hall, they said, "What do we have, Mr. Franklin?" He said, "A republic." They said, "A monarchy or a republic?" He said, "A republic, if you can keep it." Well, this is a challenge to that republic, because left to his own devices, this president is taking us away from a system of checks and balances. Article 2, he said I can do whatever I want. I repeat, that's not what the Constitution says.
Oh, it's not? Wow, I didn't know that, man. I thought Trump may have been right about that one. Everybody knows that's not what it says. I love it. Sometimes they say such banal things and they act like they're being like edgy or truth-telling, and it's like, you know what, guys? 2 + 2 doesn't equal 5. Slay Queen! Oh, Slay Queen! Yeah, we know, Nancy. We know. Now, I like how she, yet again, they always do this, like, this is the only president who's done these things. Well, the world's most quoted living intellectual, Noam Chomsky, once famously said that if the Nuremberg laws were upheld, every post-World War II president would have been hanged. How's that for your, oh, he's the only one? Like, no, actually, they're pretty much all war criminals. So I hate to rain on the parade, but that is true. Now, we'll put that aside, because here's the point she's making is very simple. The point is, who, me, bro? Us, bro? We're like principled and stuff. So like, we have no choice but to impeach because we're so principled and we're just trying to fight for the Constitution and what's right. Except if you were principled and if you did only want to fight for what's right and fight for following the Constitution, you would have impeached Bush. And you just said before that, waging an illegal and offensive war against a country that didn't attack us, that was just a disagreement. She said that she knew he, quote, misrepresented the intelligence, even at the time when they were pushing for the war. So she knew that he misrepresented, another word for that is lied about the intelligence to get us into an illegal war, and she was like, impeachment's off the table. But what happened to the, I'm just self-principled, yes, I'm self-principled, bathe me in your principles, sir. What happened to that? That's right, because here's the reality, guys, and this is why we're doing this segment. I'm here to tell you, for those of you who don't know, and by the way, I have a bridge to tell you if you don't know this, of course it's political. You think she's actually being principled? Of course she's not. It's not about principle. Of course this is a political calculation from Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic leadership, and they are convinced that it's going to help them. They're convinced of that. Now, I will say this. I hope they're right. I hope it helps them. Every night I'm like, God, please let this help the Democrats, because I want Trump out of there. I want him gone. So, of course, naturally, I want them to be right. But I fear that they're wrong. Man. I think this will help him. I do. Now, does that mean he's definitely going to win 2020? No. It could help him and he could still lose 2020. That's a possibility. Or it could help him and he can win 2020. But you guys know my theory on this. My theory is that it will kind of unfold like Bill Clinton, where Bill Clinton's approval rating went up massively when he was acquitted in the Senate. I think that this will be a similar thing. Trump's going to get acquitted in the Senate, and then I think his approval numbers will go up, and then I think he'll do a victory lap, and it'll help him. Now, again, how that will impact the 2020 election, I do think is a slightly separate conversation, but suffice to say, I think when he gets acquitted, his approval numbers will go up. That's what I think is going to happen. But make no mistake about it, guys. She said very clearly, quote, "This isn't about politics. This is about patriotism, and this is about the Constitution," she goes on to say. No, it is about politics. They're doing this 100% because of politics. Absolutely, they're doing this because of politics. And I think it just shows you how terrible their strategy is. Because even if you were, and I've explained this before on the show, but even if you were to impeach Trump, I could have given you other ways to impeach him where there's a much better chance that it helps you even when he gets acquitted in the Senate. It's basically mission impossible to actually get him impeached and taken out of office by over 20 Republicans joining the Democrats. But even accepting that fact that it's going to die in the Senate, obviously there are better cases and better arguments to use that have a better chance of hurting Trump, like emoluments corruption, like the facilitating and aiding of the war and genocide, in Yemen, while taking money from the Saudi government, who's perpetrating that genocide. Like, there are much stronger arguments, much clearer arguments that land morally and ethically, where people see it and they're naturally mortified. There are better points to make than he withheld aid from Ukraine because he was fishing for dirt on Biden. He definitely did that. Oh, don't get me wrong. He definitely did that. I'm not saying he didn't do that. He definitely did that. But I don't think that I think that in the court of public opinion, when Democrats say that, and he's like, well, yeah, I was looking for corruption on Biden because he's corrupt, I think he has a decent chance of either winning that argument or making it a wash in the court of public opinion and among the minds of people who are casually following this. So, bottom line is this, guys. She says, oh, it's all about principle. No. If it was about principle, you absolutely would have impeached George W. Bush. That proves that this is not about principle. This is clearly a political calculation. And I hope that she's right and it will help them, but I'm obviously skeptical on that point.